For you to be the best leader to your team, to be the best leader to your family, to be the best leader to anybody around you, you have to lead yourself. And part of leading yourself is understanding how resiliency plays a factor. Why is resiliency so important for leaders? Part 3. As I've created and developed this series, it's been such a pleasure to do that I even created this in multiple languages because I wanted to reach more audiences. If you didn't have the opportunity, go ahead and look at the rest of my YouTube page and check out the Spanish version and some of the other versions that have been dubbed, just to kind of highlight the kind of reach you're trying to get. My name is Michael Laidler, and you are watching a 3-part series on why it's important for leaders to focus on resiliency and some of the strategies and tips that I use each and every day to help me overcome some things that happen on a day-to-day basis. Now, in parts 1 and 2 of the video, we talked about these 4 areas. We talked about persevering through the unexpected, effectively dealing with change, adaptability, and stress management. If you didn't get a chance to watch videos 1 and 2, go through my timeline on YouTube and take a look at those and refresh yourself. Today, we're gonna finish out the series with 3 more reasons and 3 more strategies on why it's important to have resilience as a leader. If you didn't get the chance, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification button in order for you to see any other video that comes up after this series and videos coming forward. Let's jump on in. Why is resiliency so important for leaders? It's important because people expect it out of you. First and foremost, it's literally something that in my leadership role over the last 20 years that I realized if I didn't have resiliency as a leader, if I couldn't display what I had going on, it didn't just limit my abilities, but it limited the people around me. And as I continue to develop myself as a leader, I realized that I had to do certain things. I had to achieve certain measurements in myself in order to be that leader that people needed. A lot of times we talk about different leadership concepts like servant leadership and putting everybody first, but for you to be the best leader to your team, to be the best leader to your family, to be the best to be the best leader to anybody around you, you have to lead yourself. And part of leading yourself is understanding how resiliency plays a factor. Now, the 5th thing we're going to talk about, the first thing on this video, is when you have high levels of resiliency and you're building up who you're trying to be as a leader, it allows you to perform at a higher level. And when you perform at a higher level, it helps build everybody else around you. And how do you do that? I'm probably going to blow your mind with this. It's train yourself. Go out there and find videos, books, quick help guidelines, social media posts that literally help you perform. When you want to get to that higher level, when you want to achieve more, you have to go get it. You can't wait for someone to just give you knowledge. You can't wait for someone to say, hey, I'm going to send you to this training course. You have to go out there and retrieve it. And nowadays, in 2025 and going forward, there's no reason why we can't go out there and get more information. There's no reason why we can't go out there and research more data. There's no reason that you can't do that. In order for you to be able to increase your resiliency and understand how important it is, you have to perform at a higher level. But the way you do that is you take ownership. You take the responsibility. You take the understanding that if you don't do it for yourself, nobody else will. The second part of this video, as well as the 6th strategy or tip on why resiliency is so important, is when you display more resiliency, when you create more resiliency, you have people, employees, friends, family that are just more engaged in what they're doing each and every day. And there's a study that Gallup runs almost every year. I can't remember how long they've been doing that study, but on average, it says in an organization based on their studies, only 34% of people are actively engaged in what they do. Yes, pause it. If not, rewind it. Yes, 34%. Let's just say you have 100 employees. Only 34 of them are actively engaged. The other folks, the other 60 or so, are either disengaged or they're just there. It's one or the other. As a leader, as you build your resiliency, the more people you get engaged, the better it can be. How do you do that? Well, we already talked about in the prior part of this video how to perform at a higher level, you should train yourself. Well, let's keep it simple. If you need to zoom in on yourself, go ahead. You need to be more engaged. I know that sounds very easy, but if you're not excited, if you're not passionate, if you don't have that emotional level of attachment to what you're doing, then the people around you are not going to do it. People are people. And I say that because a lot of us are emotional. We have a connection to people. And if we see our leader not engaged, if we don't see our leader participating in events, if we don't see our leader trying to better themselves, then we're going to say, you know what? I can easily be disengaged. I don't have to be active in what I do because the person in front of me is not doing it. So when you're looking at resiliency, you're looking at engagement. In order to increase that, in order to be ready for things that come up, you have to be active in what you're doing for yourself. You have to be active in whatever environment that is, whether it's your family, the organization, church, whatever you're doing. You have to find a level of excitement to be doing what you do. Now, if you're an organization, you're not excited about it, I know what I would suggest for you to do. I'm gonna let you figure that out on your own. But if you're not excited about what you're doing, then think about how you're impacting everybody else. And when you go through those tough times, because you will, when you're not engaged, the people around you are gonna be less likely to be engaged because they're following their leader. They're following the person that they're looking at each and every day as a role model, as a mentor, sometime as a parent, as a big brother, big sister. And if you don't have that level of energy that they're looking for or that they need to overcome whatever they're trying to overcome, it's going to be tough. So that's, once again, that's why it's important for you to be engaged. That's why it's important for you to be ready, because your passion will carry over to what they're trying to do. And the seventh reason on why it's important, well, the third reason on this video, but the seventh based on this series, is when you have high resiliency and you're actually focused on it and you're using it as a skill rather than a liability, there's just better relations between the leaders and the people that follow them. When resiliency is created in a sense that it's important to everybody feels like they can work together. People feel like they can be vulnerable around you. And how do you create that? I just said it. Be vulnerable. I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care what level you are, you're still a person. If I took away that leadership title that you have, or the leadership title that you're seeking, you're still a person. I don't care what level anybody has gotten to on this planet. They are still people. And because you're people, or because you're a person, there's been some level of vulnerability that you have to be able to show. There's something that you've been through that you couldn't control, or that was rough. Be willing to share things that have happened in your life. I've heard so many people, and you know what? I'm not going to even say that. I've given so many presentations that as I realized the importance of vulnerability and I increased that throughout my presentations, it made them so much better because people just saw me as just a person. When you're on stage, or you have on these bars, or you have this impressive title, or you have that corner office, vulnerability is what makes that connection between the leader and the member. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't be stern in your decisions. That doesn't mean that you can't be that person that has to make the bold decisions, but you can't just look like you're a wall. You can't look like you're a brick. You can't look like you're a statue. You have to make that connection with your people. You have to make that connection with the people that are following you. Because if you don't, then it's going to be tough when times are increasing in a bad way to have that level of resiliency out of everybody. So when you're trying to build that leader-member relationship and you're trying to just develop the people around you through the concept of resiliency and what you can do, vulnerability is key. Share that story, offer something that's happened to you, and just be a person. Just be who you're meant to be when it comes to sharing, because at the end of the day, that's what we need. I hope you enjoyed this series on why resiliency is important for leaders. It was 7 different strategies and tips that I was looking at right now, and I was like, you know what? With all the different times, all the different things we have going on in our society, and I mean, things are always going on, but I thought about what could people use right now as leaders to help their teams grow? What can they help their people be to become more productive and to increase everything around them? And I was like, you know what? The concept of resiliency and dealing with tough times and just having different strategies and different approaches is extremely important, because it doesn't matter where you're at in your life. It doesn't matter what group of people you're around. We all go through something, and just having a few tips and strategies to overcome some of these tough days is very important. And as you realize that for yourself, what you're going to also understand and realize is the people around you are also going to benefit from some of these tactics that you're starting to implement right now. Thank you for watching. If you didn't get a chance, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and notification button. If you like the series, please share it. If you didn't like the series, just forget about it. I'm just kidding. But I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear what you feel or what you believe. If you think I missed a few steps or something like that, or you say, you know what, Michael, I think you should add this to the next group of videos that talks about resiliency or tough time as leader, please reach out. You can find me through email, any social medias, comment on the YouTube video, whatever that looks like for you. But I definitely want to build these videos to help you grow as people, leaders, men, women, brothers, sisters, mother, fathers, whatever that looks like. Because the more we grow each other, the more we can all develop. Thank you for your time, and you have a great day.